Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today we're making a video on Sunday, and I want to make a video today talking about Tesla because Tesla is in a lot of pain at the moment on the share price point of view. And I've got to say, it was quite obvious that it was going to have this pain in the next 12 months. However, what hasn't happened is on the YouTube scene, this has continued to be a stock that's been promoted and pumped up, and even 3 years ago was going, just buy every dip, you'll be okay. And even now, YouTubers that were still saying, oh, you can't go wrong on this stock 3 years ago, have not really accepted any responsibility of saying, actually, that was a bit of a mistake. And even now, they kind of got the blinkers on saying, oh, it makes no sense why the stock's dropping. And I thought, it's obvious why the stock's dropped. So I wanted to kind of call that out today so you guys can kind of see like what has gone wrong with Tesla. And I remember a year ago, someone actually left my Patreon because I was so negative on Tesla for the next 12 months. And I don't know if they just got caught up in the YouTube hype with people saying, oh, it can't go wrong, or even Elon Musk. Because I think maybe one of the root causes why people got carried away with the stock prices, YouTubers got carried away with the stock prices, retail investors got carried away with the stock prices, that maybe it was because Elon Musk himself was hyping up the stock, saying it could be worth $3,000 a share if it executes really well by 2025, or full driving is going to be insane, or we're going to have robots, robo-taxis, we're going to grow at 50% a year. And all these things that haven't really lived up to Tesla's share price got people a bit too carried away. So yeah, I thought we'd take a look at this today. Now, I've got to say before I do make this video, I am actually quite bullish on Tesla. I think in the long term it'll be okay, and I have been a shareholder. I've been a shareholder since 2018, 2019, and I made good money on the shares, and I sold out for a good amount of profitability. So I've been a shareholder before, and I have held it sometime since that, but once again I sold out because I thought the valuation just went really high and the risks are really high there. And for me, I think that's why I always have a bit more of a neutral view, because I'm not really chasing the stock. I've made good money on Tesla. So I think a few people do talk so positively about Tesla and want to get involved in Tesla so much because they kind of missed out. And I think a few people are chasing gains, and as well as that, I think that with the hype around Tesla, I think that's sometimes why content creators create so positive information about it, because they want to attract them viewers to their channel. And I think that for them it's more personal gain about getting the views rather than actually is Tesla fundamentally a good business that was to be buying, which clearly it wasn't. Because if you look at Tesla since 2021, the stock is down 40%. If you've been an investor in Tesla for the last kind of 3 years, you've kind of been in a dead stock. And all those kind of people that have been saying, oh, buy any dip in Tesla for the last kind of 3 years, obviously that's not worked out that well, especially when you look at how well the market's done. And when you look at some of the promoters on social media about Tesla, I mean, you got, for example, the biggest or one of the biggest stock market content creators here, the 2nd of January 2021, and I'm going to play this video, but it's going to be on mute and I've got the subtitles on here. But you can see here, it says, I feel comfortable buying Tesla really under $800, and any dip that is under $800, keep buying the stock. Now, I've got to say, since then, to be fair, Tesla has had a stock split, but even during that time frame, it is nowhere near $800. So you've got an example here where this YouTuber here, one of the biggest ones out there, was saying just buy any dip in Tesla under $800, even on a stock adjusted basis. It's still relatively way below $800 as well. And if you were doing that, I mean, the stock's down 52%, so you'd have been, buying that dip for a very long time on Tesla, for example. And now we even have him posting out saying he's going short on Tesla stock 3 days ago. How much has that changed? By every dip on Tesla 3 years ago to now, I'm going short on Tesla. Now, for me, that's kind of a sign that, hey, the tide's changing a little bit here. And that for me is actually a sign that we could be at near bottom for this stock when you start getting those people that start doing that. But it just shows you like the change of direction. I mean, Chicken Genius, I mean, not much of a genius, but he's flip-flopped more than Meet Kevin about if you should buy Tesla, selling Tesla stock, how to retire on Tesla stock by 2030. So I mean, this guy's a bigger flip-flop than anyone on the YouTube channel. And even he's saying that Tesla should be valued as $69 now as an automaker, which kind of shows you where the big changes in the direction. You look at Tom Nash as well. I mean, he put price targets out like absolute crazy on Tesla. If you were following a lot of these price targets and buying, once again, you've been hit massively. Financial education, this channel basically prided itself over being one of the early investors into Tesla. And same again, talks about buying the dip, and the dip just keeps going lower and lower. We've got someone like Sasha that's actually putting out price targets saying it's going to be a $2,900 stock, $2,800 stock with 300% undervalued. This is absolutely insane that people are putting these price targets out on YouTube, and obviously it's gone nowhere near those sort of price targets. It's ridiculous. I think these investors were either trying to create content to get views and attract maybe a lot of retail investors in here, or they just don't know how to value a stock, because it was clear something was going to go wrong with this business. I've been on the channel for the last 12 months calling how things were going terribly wrong for Tesla stock. And like I said, people were like, no, it's not. And that's because they were listening to a lot of these popular content creators posting these content out here. Like I said, I even had someone in the Patreon that left because they're going, you're talking a lot of rubbish, negative about Tesla. I was like, well, we'll see what happens. And, I was here 1 month ago posting about the Tesla stock crash. 10 months ago, posting Tesla has major problems out here. I posted 3 months ago saying Tesla's absolutely F. You go from that, the last year, and that's exactly what happened. And people ignored it because we had that little jump during this time frame and going, no, and look, it's all right. And, it's eventually caught up with them. And this is what a lot of them were ignoring. They were ignoring the biggest tightening spend in decades because of interest rates going up. All of them were going, oh, no, it'd be absolutely fine, even though every other high interest rate company were coming out and saying, this isn't good. And everyone was kind of going, no, it'll be all right, because they're listening to Elon Musk. We're still going to grow 50% a year. And it was clearly going to catch up with them. And that's what's happened. Now, like I said, I personally think if Tesla comes to a decent valuation, which I do think it's starting to actually get there right now, and this high interest rate environment does start going away from Tesla, I actually think the business could actually be a pretty good buy. And what I'm seeing at the moment with the fear building out there would suggest we are getting closer to the bottom of Tesla. But 12 months ago, so many people were ignoring this, and eventually it started catching up with them. What I hear none of them mentioned is BYD. During this time frame when I was a shareholder in Tesla, BYD wasn't really a major competitor. You look at BYD now, and they've basically crushed the Chinese market from Tesla. And looking at the entry into Europe, I would be cautious about the entry into BYD. This is something that I see none of them talk about, and this is the biggest threat that Tesla has had in the last few years, is when is there going to be a major player that comes and challenges Tesla for that title? And we are starting to get that threat now with BYD coming to the market. And once again, I hear none of them mention this kind of threat here. And the drops in the price for the average Tesla, I was seeing no one kind of mentioning this drop in the Tesla share, in the actual what they're selling the cars for. And if anything, people saying they were listening to Elon Musk spout once again the rubbish that, it's to crush the competition here. Trust me, when you're dropping the prices that much, it's not to crush the competition. All you're crushing is your profitability levels. And that's what happened. It's nothing to do with the master plan, as Elon Musk was calling it. And this has hurt them massively. And this is once again comes to the fact of the BYD competition and the interest rates. It's a massive problem for them. Not a master plan that they're taking market share. It's going to hurt the financials. And that's what hurt the financials and then went on to hurt the share price. And also we could mention things about no improvement in the full self-driving. We could talk about other areas, about these robo-taxis getting factored into the share price that people start valuing in, and we could talk about the Cybertruck. I think that was a big mistake, but those are the main drivers of what's kind of going on inside the business here. And then I was seeing the other day, and I saw Sasha on Twitter posting about bad news for Tesla, and obviously it was a sarcastic post because he was talking about, someone put a price target of $69 in, somebody sold shares, and that's why the stock is down. And he's making it look like it's an overhyped drop that currently the reason why Tesla's going on, and it's not. It's not an overhyped drop on why Tesla's going on. And this is what I've seen from so many YouTubers, is that they're pumping it out saying like, buy the dip, and there's no reason why the stock should be down. There's massive reasons why the stock should be down. If you go on Yahoo Finance and you go on Wayback Machine, so this allows you to see where a certain website what it was showing a year ago or even longer if you want. I've gone back to the 1st of March 2023. So I've gone about a year ago from the date that we're currently at. And if you go on the EPS that they're forecast to do this year, which if you go on 2024 numbers, they're expected to do $3 EPS this year on Tesla. If you look at what they were expecting to do a year ago on Tesla, in 2024, it's $5.54. That's correct. There's a $2.47 difference on the EPS. That's massive. That's absolutely massive difference on the EPS. They have majorly underachieved where they should have been from an analyst point of view a year ago. Major disappointment. And that's if you have a business that's supposed to do that much profitability in EPS, and actually what they're doing is going to be $3. It's insane. That's a major disappointment on a profitability point of view. And if you have a company that does a lot less profitability, are they going to be valued higher? No. If you have a company that is doing lower profitability than where it was, is that stock going to go up? It's not. You've got to accept as a shareholder, if you have a business that doesn't achieve the profitability it should do, and in fact is declining profitability, how can you expect that business to be worth more? And as all that master plan of price cuts coming in, if you look at the 2023 numbers, there was the average estimate of $3.97, and what they actually did was $3.12. They were 20% below the actual EPS from a year ago. That's insane. Absolutely disappointment numbers. If we look at 2024 numbers, on a revenue point of view, they're going to grow 12% this year is the forecast. A year ago, people were expecting 29% growth this year. Far off the 50% that Elon Musk said. But even then, it's even half of what the consensus was a year ago. If you look at 2023, 26% growth. I can't even remember what it ended up being last year. But it wasn't the growth that's suggesting here, which was 26% growth. It was a lot lower. So all these people out here that was, saying buy the dip, and it was like, look at what's going on. There's an obvious reason why the share price is dropping and why the stock isn't going up anymore. And none of you are talking about these fundamentals that are changing the business. And when you look at the financials, and you look at these financials, if you have a company that is growing half of what it was expected to do, and the profitability is fallen where it was previously, how can you expect a business to be worth more money? It's insane. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Tesla too much, because I think if the interest rates go lower, I think they'll start putting in better financials, and it probably will do well from there. And especially when you look at valuation, it's getting more towards a historical low valuation. Now, I personally would probably say I'd want it a little bit more than where it is actually at to buy it, but I wouldn't say now it's a million miles off where I would personally buy it, to be honest with you. But all these people that were saying back in 2021, buy the dip, buy every dip possible in Tesla stock, and it shows you like it was insane valuations, and in the last year, 2 years, people ignore the big red flag that's been appearing, and unfortunately it's hurt retail investors, because when you've got these, you shouldn't listen to YouTubers, you should make your own financial decisions. But ultimately, I guess, is when every kind of big big stock market finance YouTuber out there is saying, yeah, buy any dip in Tesla stock, it's going to probably catch up with a couple of people, which is obviously, hurting them massively. So, you just got to be aware. I think that at the time there was only really a couple of people that was kind of saying, yeah, Tesla stock is crazy valuations here, and there's big problems here. I think, when I look at the people that were calling it out, I think there was only really the playing footsie guys as well that were saying, no, the evaluation makes no sense for this business. And there was only probably one other that I can think of that maybe it was the Investor Way that was, both UK guys are calling out like the valuation is insane here. And eventually, it's going to catch up with you. There's only so long a story can get you to that valuation, but your numbers are going to catch up with you, and the numbers caught up with them big time at the moment. So yeah, just be careful, because it's just an example here that sometimes the biggest YouTubers out there can maybe influence your decision a bit when they're all pointing in a direction, and it can clearly go the other way. So you've got to be able to make your own decision out there, guys. And I think that the red flags were there. Even the big YouTubers should have seen them, and I don't know why they ignored them. And unfortunately, that's caught up with the share price. So you've got to be really careful out there, guys. But yeah, overall though, seeing that quite a few of them that were pumping the stock up at, when it was a $300, $400 stock, and now a lot of them are turning on it and even going short in the market. Maybe once again they're a little bit late on making that decision now, and actually when you're actually getting to these stock levels, you're maybe not too far off the bottom, and actually now this is where the opportunity is. So yeah, I don't want to make it a video about me hating Tesla, because I actually don't mind Tesla as a stock, but it's just a video, just be cautious, because it was a clear mistake about people saying like buy every dip on especially on the finance space, about buying every dip, and the valuation is okay in Tesla when it never was, and it's caught up with a few people anyway. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. See you in a bit.